Hi everyone, welcome back to another gameplay of BTT6. Let's continue with the hero's guide and the tutorial. Next in the list, Captain Churchill. So as usual, I have deactivated Monkey Knowledge to show you the hero by itself without any extra thing. So Monkey Meadow sandbox, let's take a look at this hero. You can see his base cost 2k cash, so he is the most expensive hero so far in the game. In hard and impossible, the cost is even higher. So definitely he's not a hero that you can use to start chimps with. Now let's take a look at his basic stats. So the first thing you can notice is the range. Very large range, actually the largest range of all the towers in the game. I think it's almost large as the Buccaneer, maybe a little more. And yeah, it may be a little more. And yeah, so very nice range. Then second thing, his attack speed. Now his attack speed is quite high, so very similar to Gwen attack speed. So his base attack speed is higher than average. Then talking about his damage and his spears is gonna be quite difficult because of the fact that he's very similar to Pat Fasty. So his damage and spears are a combination, and you cannot analyze one without the other. And his like mechanics and the algorithm behind how he deals damage to the Bloons is so complicated that I haven't really figured it out. I'm gonna try to explain to you the better I can, but yeah. So here, taking some extreme examples to show you what I mean. His piercing is unlimited, so it's infinite if the Bloons are all on top of each other. So for example here, 0 space, 999 red Bloons, and the missile, you can see the missile flying through. So the piercing of this missile, that is pretty much Captain Churchill's basic attack, is infinite. Now where this piercing becomes not anymore infinite, once the spacing is not anymore 0 but it starts being 1, 2 or so on. The damage from this missile, again extremely made, is 1 layer. So that means that if I spawn here a blue balloon, it's gonna require 2 missiles to pop the 2 layers. If I spawn a green balloon, it's gonna require 3 shots, and so on. Now things start being a little more complicated when you start combining pierce and the damage, because of the fact that each basic attack from Captain Churchill is gonna proc a mini explosion. So the missile is gonna do damage, and then as the missile touches the Bloons, it's gonna create a mini explosion, as it says here in the description of level 1 Captain Churchill. So these shots can explode up to 3 times. And here, just by, I don't know, spawning 10 red Bloons, you can see that when Captain Churchill is gonna attack once, you can see that now he created 2 different explosions. You could see them, 1 and 2, but still the missile could go through. So when you are attacking with Captain Churchill, you're doing damage with the missile and you're doing 1 layer of damage, and then you're doing additional damage with the mini explosions that are called shells. And so Bloons caught in 1 or multiple shells are gonna receive more and more damage. For example here, 10 blue Bloons, you can pop them all in 1 hit. So despite the fact that the missile damage is just 1 layer, because in this case you're taking into consideration piercing and the shells explosions, that's why of these 10 blue Bloons you can pop them all. Now if I start spawning Bloons with more and more layers, things get more and more complicated. For example, here 10 green balloons, you can see that 5 green balloons are completely destroyed. Then you have, I think, 3 red balloons remaining, and then you have 2 blue balloons. So it's completely like, I don't even know the equation behind this kind of split damage. But the only thing I can be sure of is that you can have, you're counting here the missile explosion and the shells explosions. So that's it. And now, because of the fact that Captain Churchill attacks with missiles and explosions, he can't pop black balloons and zebras. So these two types of balloons are immune to his damage. He can pop purple balloons, and another weakness is that he can't pop camo balloons, so he cannot attack them and pop them. Of course, because his basic attacks are explosions, he can pop already lead layers. And that's pretty much all the basic stats from Captain Churchill. Now, another thing of Captain Churchill is the fact that, well, he's gonna be limited in the line of sight. So unless I explain it otherwise, normally all the heroes are gonna be limited in their line of sight, and so obstacles are gonna block there. And yeah, so that's it. Now let's take a look at all these levels, and then at the end of the video I'm gonna just like give a brief overview and the best way to use Captain Churchill. So first of all, his level 2 is going to increase the piercing per shot. Now unfortunately this is bad explained, so this description actually is wrong because of the fact that the piercing per shot, so the missile piercing, does not increase. What increases is the piercing of the shells. So the mean explosions are gonna pop 1 extra balloon, so like their radius of explosion becomes a little larger, and so they can pop more balloons in that way. So that's his level 2. Level 3, his first ability, armor piercing shells. Now when you activate this ability, Churchill can pop black balloons and therefore zebras. He can do extra damage to ceramics, and the duration of this ability is gonna increase the higher the level of Captain Churchill is. So right off, just at level 3, we have already something that is gonna compensate his weakness against black balloons and zebras, because now just by activating his level 3 you can pop black balloons and zebras. So it's something that is gonna definitely help, at least early, to pop these two types of balloons. The ability at level 3 is gonna last until pretty much 65% of the remaining cooldown, and then you have to wait. So it's an ability with a pretty long cooldown, but as Churchill levels up, as the ability says, the duration is going to increase. So here, for example, I'm gonna just activate it once again at level 20, and you can see that right now it's gonna last a lot longer. So this is already like 50% of the remaining cooldown, and it's still on, and now it's off. So it's about like 40% of the remaining cooldown, so definitely lasting longer. And at the same time, as it says here, you do extra damage to ceramics. That's always a good thing to have. Level 4, an increase in range, about 2 units. So the range is already large, so that increase in range is even better. Level 5 is gonna add a machine gun attack to the tank. Now with this machine gun, you can attack like the first balloons. You cannot decide which balloons are gonna be targeted by this machine gun. So if you change here the target option, the only thing you're gonna change is the main gun. So the missile, where Churchill is gonna shoot the missile, but the machine gun is always gonna focus the first balloon. And with this machine gun, you do 1 layer with each attack. It's gonna attack like about 3 times a second, so it's very high speed. And with this machine gun, you can actually pop black balloons and zebras. So the machine gun can pop black layers and zebra layers. So that's yet another compensation for to pop black bloons and zebras other than his level 3. Level 6 is gonna add the camo detection to Churchill, so that's yet another compensation from another big weakness that was camo bloons. And now Churchill, without any like external source or external tower, he can target camo bloons. So everything applies to camo bloons as well. Level 7 shells, so his basic attacks can explode 4 times instead of 3. And now this is very important, because that means that now his overall piercing is increased because of the fact that the missile, because it can create more explosions, is gonna last longer until it expires. So in this case, for example, I think it's 24. Yeah, I think it's 24 red bloons spaced by 1. Yeah, and now here it should be capped. No, wait, this is 4 times. Oh, no, then it's 36. Yeah, my bad. 36 it should be. Yeah, see, the missile disappearing, and the 4 explosions. Then level 8, just attack speed, so higher attack speed to the main gun, and I think also the machine gun receives a buff in the attack speed. Level 9, now the shells can explode an additional time, so 5 times. And now to be able to show you how much the shells can pierce through, I need to reposition Captain Churchill in this spot last. So now the shells can go through further away, and here it should be 44 bloons, if I'm not mistaken, 44 red bloons spaced by 1. No, 43, sorry. So yeah, definitely 5 times explosion, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So at the end of the day you gain more piercing. Level 10, you unlock his second ability, Moab Barrage, and now you're gonna launch up to 16 shells to up to 10 different Moab class bloons, and each of these shells is gonna do 100 damage. That means that the maximum damage you can do to each Moab class bloons that you're targeting is 1600. And unfortunately, the only downside of this ability is the fact that once the external layer of the Moab class bloon that you're targeting pops, then the ability is gonna stop. So you're not gonna continue to shoot the shells until you exhaust the maximum piercing possible, and that's just unfortunate, but that's how it works. So for example, here against a Moab, using the ability, no wait, one Moab please. Okay, here I messed up a little bit, but it should be good. So one Moab, and I use the ability, you can see here just 200 of damage, and then the ability stops because of the fact that the Moab layer has 200 HP, and so the ability is gonna just do 200 damage. If I spawn here, a BFP is gonna happen the same, but to 700, because the BFP has 700 HP. So see here, 700, and the Moabs, they're surviving, receiving no additional damage. Now if I spawn here at Zomegad, of course, because the Zomegad has more than 1.6k HP, the ability is going to do the cap damage. So in this case, you're going to be able to see the 1600 damage. Here we go, and that's it. Now of course, because this ability can, as it says, can attack up to 10 different Moab class bloons, that means that you can pop in one go up to 10 different Moabs or 10 different BFPs, or you can damage massively 10 different Zomegads. So here I'm going to just show you against 10 Zomegads. Here we go, and of course it's going to be 16,000 the cap, the maximum damage, and boom, that's it. Now level 11, another increase in the piercing per shell, so each explosion is gonna be able to damage more balloons. 12, level 12, now the shells can explode an additional time, so that's 6 times, and that means that the total amount of balloons, I think it should be like 50 red balloons, just red balloons. Yeah, and you can see like boom, 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 the 6 explosions. Level 13, it's a buff to its level 3 ability. Now when you activate it, you can pop 2 layers of balloons, and you can do extra damage to ceramics and higher, so mob class balloons. So I'm like at level 3 already, the ability made Captain Churchill do more damage to ceramic balloons, so I think this extra damage to ceramic written again means that you do like 3 times more damage to ceramics, or maybe 4 times. Yeah, level 14, another very important level, because it's gonna double the damage from the machine gun and from the main gun. Now 2 layers per shot. And now with this upgrade, you can start doing something very similar to what happened to the bombs and other towers, that is bypassing a layer that normally Captain Churchill will not be able to pop. So for example, lead balloons have inside black balloons, and then pinks, yellows, and so on. But now, because of the fact that the main gun deals 2 layers, you're gonna pop the lead layer into a pink layer right off. So you're gonna bypass the black balloon, and you're gonna, and so in that way you don't have to pop it. So that's one way how you can like pop one layer that normally you should not be able to pop with that particular type of attack. And the same works here for like rainbows. You're gonna bypass the zebra layer, and you're gonna reduce the rainbow directly into black balloons and the white balloons, and then you can pop the black balloons with the machine gun. So yeah, that's a very nice level. Level 15, it's another passive. Now all attacks, so main gun and machine gun, are gonna do extra damage to 45 balloons. 45 balloons of course applies only to lead balloons, ceramics, and the mob class balloons. And yeah, so that's it. Level 16, more attack speed. Now with this kind of attack speed, without any extra sources, whenever Captain Churchill is attacking with its main gun 1 balloon, he's gonna shoot 2 missiles. So look here, 4 red balloons should proc here 1 hit by the main gun, and you can see that he shoots twice. So even if it's just 1 red balloon, because 3 of them are popped by the machine gun, he shoots twice. So very high attack speed. Level 17, yet another buff to level 3. Now it deals even more damage, so I think that should be about 3 layers or 4 layers of damage. Level 18, now all shells, so all the explosions, are gonna pop an extra layer of balloons. So with this, at this point, you're doing a ton amount of damage to the balloons, because you're doing double damage with the main gun and the machine gun. And then with each explosion that you're causing, that up to this point you can do 6 different explosions. Each of these explosions is doing an extra layer of damage. So just take a look here, like against 4 rainbows, like you just delete them. Like with the amount of attack speed, the amount of explosions, is just an insane amount of damage. Level 19, shells can explode 7 times, so this is the maximum amount of times that the shells can explode, and I think this should be more than about 60 red balloons popped, if I'm not mistaken. But it could be like a little less, like maybe 57, 58. And then finally it's level 20. It's gonna be a buff to his level 10, and also it says here that he's gonna increase the damage of his basic attack, so the main gun. Now unfortunately, the thing regarding the main gun doing massively increased damage is doesn't exist. So the main gun from level 19 to level 20 deals exactly the same amount of damage. Here to show it to you, I'm gonna just sell Captain Churchill. I'm gonna make him level 19. Alright. Last. I'm not gonna use any ability, I'm not gonna use anything. I'm gonna spawn here just one bloon so that he turns towards the left side. Here we go. Then I'm gonna go to round 81 and I'm gonna spawn here 100 ceramics that are gonna be super ceramics because it's round 81. And the only thing I'm gonna take a look here are the pops. So this is level 19, remember, and just take a look at the pops. So how many balloons will Captain Churchill be able to pop here? 5200. Alright, that's his level 19. So remember this name. Now I'm gonna level him up, level 20. I'm gonna reset the pops, I'm gonna reset everything. I'm gonna again spawn just one balloon so that he turns towards the left side like it was before. And now I'm gonna spawn again 100 ceramics. And let's take a look at his pops. $5,200. That's exactly to the single units. That's exactly the same amount of balloons that Captain Churchill popped before. So you can clearly see that the main gun doesn't do this massively increased damage, and I don't know if it's bugged or something, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work against ceramics, as I showed you. It doesn't work against mobs. It's like this increased damage just doesn't exist. So yeah, that's quite unfortunate. Now talking instead about the ability is gonna do 250 damage, so each shell is gonna do 250 damage. So that's the only thing that changes, and therefore everything else stays the same. And that means that now if I spawn one Zomegad, wait, sorry, I'm gonna spawn here BD so that I can show you here the maximum amount of damage. You can see here 250 going up, 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 and that's the cap damage. So that's the maximum amount of damage. By firing 16 shells, you can do 4k damage to each mob class balloon, and that means that that's enough to pop one Zomegad with one ability. So if you use it on one Zomegad, it's gonna pop completely the external layer because the Zomegad has exactly 4k HP. And that means that you can pop up to 10 Zomegads at once just using the ability. So yeah, super buff to the ability. Really, it becomes so powerful, and of course then you have to deal against all the remaining balloons, but definitely a huge buff. And that's it. So those are the 20 levels to Captain Churchill. Now just doing a brief overview showing the strengths and the weaknesses of this hero. You can see that first of all, he compensates every single weakness that he had at level 1, gets compensated by his kit by leveling up. So he couldn't attack camo balloons at the beginning. At his level 6 he gets camo detection. He cannot pop black balloons and zebras. You have his level 3 ability that while you have it active, he is gonna be able to pop black balloons and zebras. Then you have his machine gun that is gonna be able to pop black balloons and zebras. And then you also unlock double layer at level 14 with both his machine gun and his main gun, and so you can sometimes bypass zebras or black balloons if you're attacking certain balloons. So for example, light balloons, you're gonna bypass black balloons, and on rainbow balloons you're gonna bypass the zebras. So definitely not really a problem like popping black balloons and zebras. If you cannot pop them with the machine gun, you can use his level 3. So definitely not a hero with weaknesses remaining. Then you have this insane range, insane amount of damage, layers, explosions, his piercing being so large. So normally if you're gonna really exploit Captain Churchill, you have to place him in a spot that his missiles can just fly through a ton of different balloons, can create all these explosions, and in that way you can just destroy them all and do a lot of damage. So yeah, that's all Captain Churchill's strengths. Now talking instead about his weaknesses, the first weakness that I think about is cost. His base cost is very high, and so you cannot place him even in the first rounds. You have to like get a lot of cash to be able to even place him. Then second thing, of course, is the fact that even if you can pop black balloons and zebras with the machine gun or with his level 3, you cannot pop them always. So that means that when there are a lot of balloons in the screen, and you don't have any other towers, some black balloons or zebras may be able to sneak past him, and that's of course something that you would not want to happen. Now another weakness is that his levels require a lot of experience, so he's gonna level up very slowly, like compared to the other heroes I've showed you so far. He's very slow at leveling up, and not even with monkey knowledge you can unlock him level 20 without using some cash. I think that the maximum you can unlock him is like level 17 with monkey knowledge, so having already more experience. And unless you place him in range of a 5-0-0 sub, so something that's gonna make him earn experience faster, he's not gonna be unlocked at level 20. So you're gonna require 100% some cash to unlock his last levels, and yeah, that's yet another weakness, because like in chimps, I think he like at level 100 he reaches like level 15, I think it is 15 or 14 or 15, so very low level. And the last weakness I can think about, like comparing to other heroes, is the fact that he doesn't have any supporting ability. So all his kit, all his levels are going to increase his own damage or the damage from his abilities, but he doesn't have anything to buff or to support other towers. So yes, he can do a lot of damage himself, but he will not like make other towers stronger. And yeah, that's a weakness. Like if you compare him to like Obin or Gwen, that's his main weakness. Like he cannot really buff other towers or like have some supportive levels as well, like Obin that has the totems that are gonna slow down balloons, and yeah. So overall I think Captain Churchill is quite strong, one of the strongest heroes. So normally you're gonna do the highest amount of damage with him if you use him correctly with a nice strategy. But he has again, as I said, the fact that he's gonna cost very much, that he's gonna level up slow, and that he's not gonna like support your overall towers with anything. So that was it, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and see ya. Bye bye.